Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good day and welcome to the show. Today is Monday, the 7th of December, 2020. Glad to have you guys here. Now, here's the thing. If you were a person, say you worked a long time, you always wanted a new car, brand spanking new car. And you went to all the dealers and you pick out the one you wanted. Really nice car, and you parked it out in front of your driveway after you paid all the taxes and everything. And it's just beautiful, sparkling that night. You're out there and you're buffing it a little bit with the little rag, and it's just shiny and it's beautiful, parked in the driveway, ready to go, all full of gasoline. You've got everything paid off. You've been waiting for years for this. So you go inside the house and you're watching TV and you're sitting in your recliner, and all of a sudden you hear a boom, bang, smack. Really loud. Sounds like a bomb goes off in your yard. Run out of the house. And somebody has come off of the highway, drove across your yard, into the side of your car, and smushed your whole side of your car. Bang, crash. Well, it's not your fault. It's got nothing to do with you. You're inside watching TV with your legs up on the recliner. The fault is whoever smashed it. Whoever smashed the car. It's their fault. They did it. Well, this is our lives across the United States and Canada here. We have businesses. A lot of people own different things like restaurants and stuff. And they put a lot of hard work. They put their whole lives into these businesses and stuff. And these businesses is what provides for them. It's like their new car. It's like they've put so much work into it. Or maybe they've expanded their restaurant. Maybe they have, and not just restaurants, all these little businesses and stuff all across America, mom and pop's businesses and stuff. It's like their baby. It's like that new car. It's something they've worked really hard for a long time. And all of a sudden, some idiots come and smashed it. Their business now is broke. Can't make any money. It's not their fault. They didn't do it. But now, what's even worse is, now they can't make payments on their rent. Maybe they got a house, or maybe they rent an apartment. They can't make payments. They're back doing their payments and everything. And they're being threatened with getting kicked out in the street in the middle of the winter time. For crying out loud. With no food, no water, sitting on the curb, their car's been repossessed, there's a sign on their house that says, the eviction notice, coming in January, this is what's going to happen. To millions of people across the United States, not just a few, millions and millions and millions of them. You say, well, there's a rental eviction moratorium. Yeah, but they're going to end it in January. Now, whose fault is all of this? It's the fault of the one that come and smashed your car. It's not your fault. You were doing everything you were supposed to do. It's not your fault. It's their fault. They did it. So if somebody smashes your car, if you did buy a new car and somebody come and smashed it, that would be their responsibility. And that's the way it works in life, all the way across the board. If your kids come in and they break something in the house, it's their responsibility. It might come out of their allowance to have it fixed. Because it's their responsibility. In this case, something's been broken. Our lives across America have been broken. Somebody has to take responsibility for that and fix it. Now, let's start the charts right here and take a look at what's going on. Here we go. They're planning on a stimulus package. It says they're going to unveil a GOP stimulus around 3 p.m. sized around $900 billion. Okay, here's the thing. Our lives have all been smashed. Now, say the guy come up and he said, your car's all smashed. I did it. Yeah, I did it. And they say, well, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about our smashed car? Well, he walks over and he says, look, I can, he says, you got the key to the trunk. He say, yeah, okay, here. And they give him the key to the trunk. He opens up the trunk. He pushes it with his hand. He pushes the dent out in the rear quarter panel. And he says, there, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And a little bit of buffing on this spot. You can buff this out, he says. You can buff it out and stuff. Well, that's what they're pulling here with $900 billion. You know? $900 billion. Look, they did $3.2 trillion. That's like 5 times as much as $900 billion back in March. How much of that money did the people get? Most of it went to their Wall Street buddies. You know? And how much money did the people get? Well, they got a little bit. Well, they had to give them a little bit. They couldn't give it all to the Wall Street buddies, or there would have been a big stink. And they're smart enough to know to give them a little bit. They sent them $1,200 and a little bit of unemployment insurance benefits. You know, but now all that's run out. But that was that would be equivalent of 3,200 billion. This is only 900 billion. And the problem is so much worse now. What do they think 900 billion? That's just a patch. You know, right now to do something meaningful, they need 5 trillion to do something meaningful for all these people. Millions, restaurant owners and everything else. It's not their fault. This isn't going to solve it. 900 billion isn't going to solve it. And they need to get the money directly to these small business owners and stuff. What are they doing, for crying out loud? What are they doing? Don't they realize that this is a car wreck? And it's not going to be fixed with a little bit of bondo and a little bit of buffing? This is going to take some major, take it into the shop, new quarter panels, new door skins, new all the way, you know. This is going to require new windshields and everything. This is going to require somebody to really work on it. That's going to get something really done that's going to really be meaningful to get these people back on their feet, get these restaurants back on their feet so that they can reopen, get these people... Look, they should, at the very minimum, they should be paying everybody's mortgage and paying everybody's rent and paying it off. Paying it off. You know, they're going to have to do all this anyway. Just that they're going to try to take the slow route where they don't pay it, and in the end, everything's going to start to collapse. They need to support this economy with some money, some real meaningful money. Get it out there before these kids have to go through, not just kids, but adults too. Everybody has to go through the worst Christmas in their lives. Why can't they make this a decent Christmas and pass something meaningful and get something out there to help the people, you know? And I mean, support is urgent now at this point, because if they don't do it, it's the same thing going back. If we go back a number of months, way back earlier this year, or near the start of this year, to tell you the truth, I was on here saying, and there's no cases, 0 cases of this disease in America. And there's just like one person would come in on an airplane, you know, and they would do contract tracing and stuff, you know. It was all inadequate. But I said that they should just cut off all the airplanes coming into America. Cut off everything coming into America, and there would be no disease in America right now if they'd done that. If they just stopped the flights. Stopped all flights. Just stop them from coming in. You know, we would be the only country that's disease-free. But here in America, here in North America, I mean, you know, but they didn't do it. They let it come. They're wholly inadequate on everything because they're dropping the ball again on this, because come January and into February, you know, we're going to see the effects of this. And it's going to destroy the housing market. If they let this thing go through, and they let all these people lose their homes, what do you think that's going to do to the real estate market? It's going to destroy it. Then there's going to be a big crisis. Then they'll call for stimulus and everything else. Once it happens. They always sit on their hands on one side of a disaster, and they don't do anything, and they just let the disaster walk right in. without doing nothing. And they're doing the same thing all over again. This is just a little patch, a little bump that they're putting in this $900 billion. They think that's going to solve it. That ain't going to solve this crisis. This crisis is way too big, you know. Stocks hold gains despite confirmation that McConnell will not unveil the $900 billion stimulus at 3 p.m. But they're going to do this $900 billion. You watch. Let's get in there and take a look at the markets today. Now look at what happened with silver, guys. They tried their old trick. You see right here, at about 4 a.m. this morning, in a really slow time, really slow, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, they smacked it down from basically 24.20 all the way down to 23.60. They got it down. They were smacking it down like crazy. They got down to 23.60. And then look what's happened. It's bounced straight back in their face, and it's went higher than it was back before they tried to smack it down right now on silver, you know. It's what it's really bounced back on them. Look at that. I love to see that bounce back on them. All their efforts to try to smack it down, it's bounced straight back in their face. Let's take a look at, 24.77. You know, if you count the lows here, when they got it down to 23.6, and now it's 24.7, you know, that's $1.10. That's a big difference. Okay, take a look at gold here. Gold's, they did the same thing with gold. Tried to smack it down. Now it's up higher than ever. It's up $27.40 today at $18.65. Cryptocurrency today, $570 billion, you know. Okay, you know, I'm going to tell you guys why I'm so adamant about this with their spending bills. They're going to go there anyway. They're going to have to. Why let people suffer through Christmas? You know? Why not do it now? Why wait until America's in total crisis and everything's in shambles before they do the stimulus? Why not do it on this side? Why let it fall? It's like holding the vase in your hands. Don't let it fall on the ground and then try to piece it together with a whole bunch of glue. Don't let it fall in the first place. Keep it together in one piece. Don't let it fall. And that's the way they're doing right now. They're letting the vase fall. It's going to hit the ground, shatter, and then they're going to try to put it back together with a whole bunch of super glue. This is the way they work. This is the idiot way they work. And this is what they did with the coronavirus. They could have stopped it from getting in at a certain point there, when there was nobody in America hardly had it and was still in China and they were flying over with it. They could have stopped it right there in its tracks. No, they let the vase hit the floor and smash into pieces, and then they tried to pick it up and glue it back together. And that's what they're doing right now. They're trying to glue it back together. They do that with everything. I'm going to tell you, honestly, it's repulsive the way these politicians work. And they're only interested in the people's public opinion of them so that they can get reelected. And a lot of the money that comes from them to get reelected comes from people who want to get, I'll scratch your back if you scratch my back, sort of a deal. It's repulsive, the whole thing. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 153 points now. I want to tell you guys something very important about this. The next 90 days, we are in danger of a very steep correction in the Dow Jones. It could almost look like a crash. We are in danger of that for the next 90 days. Once 90 days goes by, then the sky's the limit for the Dow. There's a lot going to happen in the next 90 days. A lot. And how it unfolds is, I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to unfold, but there's going to be a lot happening in the next 90 days. And once we get through this period, this next 90-day period, you know, then we're going to start to see maybe a turn in everything, you know. And that's why I'm anticipating the recovery next summer. But this next 90 days, maybe 120 days even, is it's not going to look like a recovery. It's going to look like the exact opposite, and we're going to have people doomsdayers on here saying that things will never come back to normal. Well, the real doomsday's coming when after we go through a recovery. So, I mean, this whole thing is hard to understand, but I don't see doom coming. I see dark times coming in the next 120 days or next 90 days. But then I see the recovery coming. And we're going to be at our lowest point when the recovery starts to begin, We'll be at our lowest point probably in around February or March. And there will be an awful lot of bad stuff going on, including what could be a steep market correction could happen between now and then. In other words, things are getting worse right now, rapidly worse. And I see us hitting our lowest point probably in around February or March. And, it's like falling into a mud puddle, You fall into a mud puddle. You're at your lowest point when your face is right down in the muddy water. What happens then? Then you start to get up, That's what we're doing. We're in the middle of the fall right now, falling into the mud puddle. And it's going to be at its worst probably around February or March. The United States is not going to look like the United States during that time. It's going to look more like Venezuela or something, But we're going to pick ourselves back up again, Let's take a look now at crude oil. 46.43 for crude oil is up 17 cents on the day. Move index. Now, the move index is creeping upwards. Let's take a look at a 1-month chart. It's reached its bottom here around Wednesday the 25th of November. And ever since then, it's been creeping back up again, starting to move up. Its bottom was 36.64. And now it's 43.89, but it's no big deal. It's not moving up that much. It has to go over 100 before it really causes problems. Okay, looking at these U.S. Treasury yields, we're seeing the yields falling. I'm going to tell you, I think they're already doing yield curve control, but on the QT maybe. I just don't know. But they're going to do yield curve control. We're never going to see these yields rise significantly higher on the long end of the yield curve because they won't let them. It's as simple as that, because it would destroy the system. And they know it, so they're not going to let these yields rise. So they're going to keep these yields low. And this is a passport for gold and silver as long as these yields are kept down on the U.S. Treasuries. As long as they're down near the zero bound, or not significantly higher than the zero bound, this is a green light for gold and silver. Let's take a look now at U.S. dollar index, 90.75. U.S. dollar index, and it's going along sideways today. It's a little bit of a bounce in it, but now it's back down on that level and it's going along sideways. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe, and you know what? We'll catch you guys on the next show. Bye-bye.